So it's like 27 o'clock at night or something. I don't know. I don't even know what day of the week it is now. Long story short is we've filmed some stuff and I've completely forgot to do an intro. So this is the intro for something that we've already filmed, and now it's late and the weekend's coming, so I'm just piecing everything together on that one. Anyway, here's Allstar Garage. However, I have got some stuff to show you because we've had a bit to do this week. Obviously, we've just raced Easter Sunday. We've got to get that car off the lorry. That car's dead. It's finished. That's going to get stripped out. We've had enough of that. So let's get that out of the way. I've got a lorry in this week to have some hoses done on it. Obviously, we do the Allstar Hydraulics. We've got the vans out on the road doing mobile breakdowns, fixing diggers and lorries and dumpers and all stuff like that on a daily. But we do bits in the workshop as well. So this week we've got a lorry in that a guy's had a body put on the back for a tilt and slide, and he wants it piped up. He's already got a hydraulic system in place on the lorry for a hire, like a crane, but he wants that tapped in and teed in and whatever else. So we're going to film a little bit of that, and then I've also got to get that Jag stripped, the one we've just raced at Easter Sunday. So that's on the to-do list. The lorry's on the to-do list. I'll stop jibber jabbering. Let's get on with it. Welcome to another bit of wonderful footage from the shed. This time we're actually doing some work on this customer's lorry. They're putting a tilt and slide body on the back of this crane lorry. I think it already had the crane plumbed in. They have the body built. So we've got to put this diverter valve, which is here. Drill's been swearing and cursing the other side, doing the hoses underneath. As I said, I'll do the ones on the top. This lorry has operations from the driver's side for the levers on this Fassi crane. Customer wanted the tilt and slide obviously to be a separate circuit than the crane, using the same pump and the same tank that was already on the lorry. So we've fitted this diverter valve, which the supply from the pump will come up and go into, and then you flick it left to use the tilt and slide, and then you flick it right to use the crane. I'm just in the middle of making the new hose. Obviously it went from the pump to the feed to the valve block, so now because we're joining into that, at the minute I'm just making the one that comes from here on this hose. It's going to come around and go underneath here up onto that fitting there. So I'm just going to measure that, cut that, put that on, then I can make the one that feeds from the pump to the valve block. Squirrel's just run the two hoses that go to the valve block on the back corner there for the feed and a return for all the levers that make it tilt and slide and do what it wants to do. This is the feed that's come up that I've got to tie into there with a 90-degree elbow. And the return goes up into the line here that goes up into the top of the tank. So I'm going to put you on a time lapse while we knock it out. Catch you in a bit. Okay, so obviously we still haven't done the hose from the pump to the diverter valve, which is next on my list. Made this bracket, which welded on there to hold it on. So the fluid will come up from the pump to the diverter valve. You'd flip the diverter valve over this way. It's then going to go through, pass down the hose to the feed for the valve block, which is there, so you can use the crane. When you don't need to use the crane, you flip the valve over the other way, and the oil will go down the other line all the way to the back corner for the levers or the electronic remote or whatever for the winch and the tilt and slide and everything else. What are you doing up there, Squiz?
Turn back to the tank.
So we've had to tap in on a T-piece from the tank here because the customer wants to use his big tank that he's got on the crane. So we've put a T-piece in that line, and then that is obviously the return line. That again goes all the way back to the valve block in the corner. We'll tidy all that up, look nice and pretty. So we've got one more hose to make, and then we're about done. Okay, so we've been in the workshop for a couple of hours now, 2 or 3 hours I think, with 2 of us on it, and we're about done. We're just going to pull it outside. We've got a little, the customer said there was a leak on the valve block on the tilt and slide on the back, so we're just going to pull it outside and make sure everything works. We've chucked some oil in it, so that was a stain on the tank. That's not any oil. We've chucked some oil in it, and yeah, I know what someone's going to say is that this could have been ran the other way, which it could have done, and put the handle out the back so that this outlet was pointing out the back, but it's so tight for the fittings and everything in there, we would have had to brought this over again about another ½ an inch to get the clearance for the fitting out the back, and then you would have had the bolt sticking out the front, and the customer was very specific that they wanted the valve block there. So just with the way it is and the way we would have had to move it over, it would have pushed into this plastic cowling. That was just the easiest way to do it. So yeah, there's no reason why any of this should get knocked off or anything. It's protected in there by the leg. When the leg folds up, the customer said there was a leak on the valve block around the back. So we're just going to pull it out now and have a look at that. All right, Joey? Just going to have a look at that. They're doing the wiring and putting the box on and everything else here. That's water where it's been outside, but there is a hydraulic leak here somewhere. So we're going to have a quick look and see if we can locate that outside and make sure all the tilt and slide and everything else works. There's your leak.
Yummy.
Which is the hose, which is the return line, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the return line off the actual
for the
slide.
main tilt that comes out. So there's your leak. Cheers, mate.
It's alright.
It's Wednesday. It's about 8 o'clock at night. This is the worst job of them all. I hate stripping out bent cars. But it's down to us, doggo. Right, so she's a bit sorry, obviously after Northampton Easter Sunday. Right, so she's obviously a bit tired after Easter Sunday at Northampton. So what we have to do now is strip the old girl out. It's even like we've had a bit of a big one there. Axle's all twisted and gone over, and it's not very nice. Front's pretty sore. And that's the end of its life, really. So what we have to do now is to take the roll cage, the floor plate, the door plate, the water tank, obviously the engine, gearbox, any straight spares on it, the plates on the passenger doors. There's actually quite a lot that comes off of it that you don't realise from a distance. All the switches, the loom, the gear stick, ECU, floor plate, pedals, brake servo, steering column, seat. So that all goes into the next one, which will be the next straight shell. Oh, remember that bucket of amazing gearbox oil? Oh dear. This is, I put this underneath the car when the lorry came back after Sunday, and this is what it's, well, apart from whatever that bit of whatever is in there. There's a lot of there's more metallic glitter in there than a teenager's makeup drawer, and that's come out the diff. It's a bit of a worry. Probably needs a bit of attention. That's how bad the leak is what I'm saying. Yeah, so she's not very happy, the old girl. She's come to the end of her life. So obviously everyone from racing will know the deal, know what you've got to do. But for those that aren't from racing, I'm going to try. It's obviously not a 5-minute thing, but I'm going to try and do a bit of a time lapse and just crack on with it as much as I don't want to. I might just take like a couple of bolts out and go home. But yeah, just crack on, get it stripped out. The sooner we can get it stripped out, the sooner we can get the next one in and crack on with that. So it's another job that's got to happen. For I can't remember what the plan is with the meetings now. But yeah, I think the next one is Mildnall, and that's going to be that girl there from Arlington, and then obviously this will be in a fresh shell for the one after that. Hopefully. Let's crack on. Right then, that'll do me for tonight. I think it's like 3 minutes to midnight or something. I'm cooked. I'm done. I need to clean myself up, have a shower, get my head down, and get some sleep. You don't realise how much goes into it until you start stripping them out, and it's all the front suspension comes off: brake pipes, servo, brake pedals, floor plate, door plate, water tanks. Every last bit comes out. I've got a bit of suspension on this front corner that was obviously bent from Sunday. Other than that, it is literally a bare shell, as you can see. The back axle's still got to come out, which is 15 minutes work. It's not terrible, but I've got to turn the car around to do that, because if I take it out where it is, I can't get over the middle bit of the ramp with forklift to lift it up, and it's heavy. So that's a tomorrow job, or a tomorrow night, or whenever. I'll come in, I'll just turn that around, drop the axle out, and then she's completely stripped. And then it transforms into a skip that we then strip the other road car into before it then goes to the scrapyard. So that acts as a bin for all the trim and the plastic and the seats and everything else out of the other car, which we'll see in the next stage. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Lorry that way. Oh, what does this button do? these deep dish XJ40 wheels, they do bad things to me. They really do. That's hard. That's a hard wheel. Tell you what else is hard. Impact driver, impact gun, nut gun, buzz gun, call it what you like, small one, big one, doesn't matter. Chrome sockets on the gun, not the black ones, not the impact sockets. That makes it hard. But even better when you use, I'm not going to name the brand, but when you get the lifetime guarantee, because they just last forever. Because you smash it to pieces, it breaks. You just go and get another one. Oh, that's tight. Oh, that's still tight. Oh, that's still tight. I'm half expecting the bolt to snap, to be honest. But she's not. She's going to be stubborn. Oh boy. I'll just cut my hand as well. Did I ever mention how much I love stripping dead cars? Crash cars, Mac cars. Bolt's 3 miles longer than it needs to be. Oxygen is oxygon. But to be fair, it's done alright. I expected it to run out building the last one, so we're actually doing alright. To be fair. I'll have to go get one of them later. Moral of the story here is if I just put the gas bottle in my van and went and got the gas 10 minutes down the road, got the gas 10 minutes, come back 10 minutes, half an hour, let's say, then I'd probably already have that and I could just cut this out really easily. So because I'm not doing that, like an idiot, I'm going to now struggle for twice as long to do something that I could have done if I'd just gone and got the gas. there we go, guys. That is stripped, ready for the bin. Albeit, actually, apart from this one bolt that I've just noticed, I didn't get last night. So can he get to it? And I'm not getting the grinder out again. Like, you can stay. Like, enjoy your journey. Bean cans for you. That's done. So that is recycling now. Thanks actually to Jaguar car spares on the door there that the car came from. One of my sponsors, they gave me the car. I've had it a little while actually, a year or two. It's sat in a stockpile. So the one outside will get stripped into that in the next week or two, whenever we do it. And that will go back to them and get baled and turned into baked bean cans or whatever it is they do these days with the recycling. I'm not sure. Obviously the boys from racing, boys and girls I should say, from racing know the ins and outs of stripping and building the bangers, but it's not like what a lot of these old boys say. Oh, it's not like it was in my day. It's genuinely not. It's, you know, back then you used to be able to strip and build a car in an afternoon, bang on wires and go racing and have some fun. But especially on your own, it's like at least 2 weeks work now to strip and build a car. And that's with not doing much work. You know, by the time you do the engine, the gearbox, the cradle, the water tank, the seat, the mounts, axle, brake pipes, wiring looms, everything. As you can see, there isn't much left on that. That was apart from the shell itself. There's not a lot, you know, all the pedals, steering column, seat, everything that you see as a banger that's still in the car to make it drive, and that's gone. Apart from this bent suspension here that we don't need to keep, that we broke on Sunday, everything else on this car is gone. Even the corner plates that stop the bonnet coming off, we'll keep them, reuse them. Yeah, it's not a 5-minute job building bangers anymore. So what do we do next on the racing side of things? Obviously, we've got to strip and build another one of these Jags, which we do need to do provisionally for not the next BWS round, because we'll take that one. But the one after that is Eastbourne and Arlington, I think, where we had the win the other day. So that is mid-May, I think. So we've got a little while, but obviously time creeps up on you. So that does need to be done. That's probably the biggest job we've got, is building another complete unlimited. We've also got to put an engine in the Series 2 Jag, which is under that cover up there. Will probably be that 2 litre that come out from the weekend actually to go in that. And obviously, tucked away around the corner there is the Rover, which we possibly have to put a clutch in. I'm not sure yet. And yeah, finish building that, because that hasn't really had much time on it. I've thrown some nuts and bolts into it, but that still needs some welding and some bits and bobs, and it's got no brakes, and like I said, the clutch is slipping like mad. Fires up and drives, but doesn't stop and doesn't do much else, and it's half built. So we'll probably get on with that, because that's getting signed written in about 2-3 weeks, I think. Dan Klein's coming down to do that. Obviously, we always ask in each episode on the comments underneath if there's anything in particular you'd like to know or you'd like to see moving forwards. And just to wrap this episode up, we're going to focus on the fact that a few people have asked what the difference is between the straight 6 shells that I always refer to, or the V8 shells, or an XJ8 and an XJ6 was obviously the straight 6 and the V8 one, or an X300 and an X308 is also what they're known as. So I'll run through that quickly now. They look on the road like as a road car. There's a picture of one here. They look exactly the same. But the only way I can describe it is if you was to go to, let's say, Thailand, and not that I have, but you hear the stories, and someone might get into conversation with a lady, and the conversation flows and some drinks are had, and you end up spending the evening together. You go back to one or the other's apartment to have some quality time together, and the dress comes off, and it's not quite what you expected. You know, there's more going on there than you'd planned for, or there's more of a situation arising in front of you. Like, it's different, is what I'm saying. Like, on the outside from a distance, it looks the same, but when you actually strip it down, it's not. So I've got a little suspension breakdown on the floor that I'm going to show you as to why they look different without the dress on. Okay, first up, steering racks. Ignoring the fact that the V8 one's got steering arms still on it, but if you look at them, the way they mount up, that's got 2 bolts, 1, 2. That's got a bracket there and a bracket there. Same that end is different, and that end is different. So that is because the front bed is completely different. The front hubs, these are the V8 hubs. Obviously one's missing a caliper. This is just what's come out of spares box, but as you can see, that's what they look like. And these are the 300 hubs. So when you look at the two together, completely different. That one carries a ball joint, that one doesn't. Hub size itself is completely different. Completely different. Top and bottom wishbones. This is a V8 one, so an X308 or an XJ8. And this is a 300. Yeah, I know before someone says same wishbone, they're not opposing wishbones. I couldn't find one in the box. So if you look at them together, the wishbones are completely different. And if that still doesn't satisfy your needs enough, when you're at racing and you're stood in the crowds watching, and obviously the wings have been cut and the bumpers are off and everything else, the easiest way to tell is that the V8 one, front bed sticks out the front of it, and the straight six one doesn't. Just like this, here's your straight six one, very sort of snug to the front of the wheels. And the V8 one looks like this. Okay, that just about wraps up this episode. We have touched very vaguely on what we do for work over here at Allstar Hydraulics. Bosh. We have stripped out the Jag from Easter Sunday. We have talked a little bit about Thailand and suspension. Sounds odd when you listen back. Coming up on the next installment episode, call it what you like, I don't know. We're going back to the old school. We're going to do some old stuff. I think that's more important at the minute because the sign might's coming in a couple of weeks. Where's Wayne? I'm telling you now, because that thing's fired up and come out, you won't be far away. It's where old stuff come out of the ground. You know, like old has arisen and Wayne arrives because he loves it. Wayne gets excited. And I mean, like, he turns into a tripod, if you get my drift. Like, old straight six side valve engine, or a Triumph engine, or a 4.2 Jag engine, anything like that. Anything old and 6 cylinders, and Wayne gets excited. Obviously, if you've enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe. I think down there somewhere's a bell. If you press that bell, it will let you know next time we post a video. We're being silly and making fools of ourselves, and you get the enjoyment of watching it. You might not. You might think he's a proper weirdo, and I don't like him very much. But if you don't, and you do enjoy it, please hit them buttons. It really does us a favour. I will catch you in the next one.